Hello and good evening. Welcome to Unlocking Finance with your financial friend. My name is Ntombi, and as always, I'm here to help you unlock your financial potential through simple, practical, and biblical money principles. So last week, we started our series, The Wealth Building Framework, and we spoke about building yourself. Because before money grows, it's important that you yourself grow. Tonight, we are moving over to the next step, which is the second step of this framework, which is building your income. So once you've built yourself, the next question is, how do you turn who you are into what you earn? So how do you convert all these things that you've developed over yourself? How do you turn that into an income? Now, let's make this clear. Income is the bridge between your potential and your lifestyle. So how do you use your potential to enhance your lifestyle? That bridge in between is your income. So you can have the knowledge, you can have the skills, the big dreams, but without income, to be quite honest, those things will just remain ideas. Because let's be honest, yes, we're living in the world, we are children of God, but we're living in the world and there is a means of currency that we are using, which is money. We use a means of exchange, which is money, that helps us to acquire the things that we desire. And so it's important for us to learn on how it is that we can acquire or increase our income or acquire an income for us to be able to attain the things that we desire. We do not want to be limited in our options. As children of God, we want to be able to have authority. We want to be able to have a say. We want to be able to have things. We don't want to be limited in terms of the things that we want to achieve. We have big dreams and big visions because we serve a big God. However, we don't want to be restricted due to our lack of resources, due to our lack of income. So income is what allows you to pay your bills. You don't want to be struggling to not pay your bills, your monthly bills. There's different bills that you have, paying for electricity. You don't want to live in the dark. You don't want to be able to not being able to drive from one area to another because of fuel. Or you're not able to service your car, you're not able to take your children to school. You want to make sure that you're effective in everything that you do. Your income allows you to support your family. It allows you to invest, to grow your money. It allows you to also be generous to those, who are in need, to do that godly mandate, that godly responsibility that has been placed on us to be generous to others. When you don't have money, you're not really able to be effective in that area. And it also allows you to build assets, to have ownership. The Lord has given us the earth to have dominion over it. He has given us the earth to replenish, to multiply. And so building assets is a form of responding to that blessing or that command that God has placed on us, the responsibility that God has placed on us to have dominion on the earth. God has not created us to be slaves. God has not created us to be victims. But God has called us to have authority, to have a place, to have a role wherever we go. And so also in our finances, we should have authority, have assets, build your asset portfolio. But now the issue is that most of us don't intentionally build the income. We just see an income as a key to attending to our personal desires, our instant gratification. We see that as a key. As soon as the money comes into the account, it doesn't stay because it's already gone to things that you didn't even plan for. Yes, it may pay your bills and the necessary things, but then you find that there's things that you can really live without, but because you don't have the discipline or you don't have a plan, you find yourself victim to the cycle of continuously misusing resources and misusing your income. So you receive your income, but you don't design it. There's no plan for it. There's no roadmap. There's no blueprint in terms of how you're going to use this effectively so that you build yourself wealth and build for your family as well, and so that you can have dominion on this earth and fulfill that purpose that God has created for you as a human being. Now, we see in the Bible there's a powerful principle that we read about, the parable of the talents. A master gives different amounts to his servants and expects one thing. Can you guess what it is? If you said multiplication, you are correct. God is a God of multiplication. God is a God of growth. Like I said in Genesis 1:26, let us make man in our own image. And he says, multiply, have dominion. So God is a multiplication God. God is a growth God. So the moment we don't grow, then we must ask ourselves, is God in it or not? So we see here in the parable of the talents that the master is expecting multiplication. So he says, I'm giving you this thing and I want you to increase it. I want you to grow it. I want you to sustain it. I want you to steward it. He's not saying preserve it. He's not saying make excuses. He's not saying be fearful. And we see at the moral of the story is that the servants were rewarded according to what they've done. So those who multiplied were rewarded accordingly. But then there's the one who hid it, and the one who hid it lost even what he had because it did not please the master. So what is the lesson that we learn here? Is that from what we read here, we can assume or we can deduce and say that God is not interested in what you receive, but he's interested in what you do with it. God is a God of stewardship. God cares about you caring about what he gives you. So understand that your income is not for survival, but your income is for growth, it's for multiplication, and it's to create an impact that fulfills the having dominion, being fruitful, multiplying, having dominion, replenishing, and subduing the earth. That contributes to that. So what is it? How is your income fulfilling that scripture, if I should ask it like that? To build an income, it is important to also understand how income works. So we're looking at 3 different types of income, and I'll explain to you briefly so you can understand. The first type of income is an active income. This income you earn by trading time for money. So basically, if you don't do the work, there's no money. So no work, no pay. That's basically active income. So that's the income that you receive by being active, by doing the work, by trading your time for the money. So it's your salary, it's your wages, your freelancing, your consulting. It's as a result of the services that you render, and they're dependent on your work. They're dependent on your presence and your ability to work. That's your active income. So this is normally where all of us start. We put in the work first. We have to, as long as we work, we'll earn an income or we'll gain an income. But then there are times where, if you don't work, then no income. It is an important, foundation, and it's important to build it, but it's limited because let's be honest, your time is limited. You could get sick. There could be things that come into your way that happen. Circumstances may change that can stop you from earning an income. So with your active income, if you're not present, then you don't get any. And so it's limited. Then we're looking at the second type of income. This is called the leveraged income. So this is the income that grows beyond your direct effort. So based on the systems that you build, what business systems have you built? Selling products, using other people's time or skills. So maybe you got yourself employers, for instance, and they're the ones doing the work. The work is still being done, but you're not as active. The work can still get done in your absence through other people. So you are resourceful through means of people or websites, when you're uploading, your products on the website. It still requires your work, but once a system has been established, it can operate on its own. So that's a leveraged income. Your digital platforms, social media, posting on social media, you can use that as a leveraged income. So this is where your income is no longer tied to your hours. Your work is still there, but you don't have to, the selling of your products is not linked to your work or your hours. You can still, sell the products while you're sleeping. So that's your leveraged income. The third type of income is your passive or portfolio income. This is income that you acquire from assets. So through your investments, through dividends, rental income. And truth be told, this is where a lot of us want to be. And these are the questions that we get, or these are the kind of questions that I get from people that haven't even started, with any form of active income, or they haven't started with any financial plan. And they say, I want to invest in assets, or we all want to start here. But to be honest, we need to start somewhere. And normally the passive or the portfolio income is something that you build over time. It's not something that just happens instantly. And that's why you're building your portfolio. So with the passive income, this is where you acquire income from your assets, from your investments, rental income, your dividends. So you buy a piece of property and you rent it out. The amount of money that you get on a monthly basis from that counts as your passive income from your assets. You own the house or you own the apartment. Or from the investments that you put into your account, your tax-free savings account, whatever interest you accumulate from there is your passive income. So it's built after active and leveraged income. So it's a process. You don't just immediately jump into it unless you've inherited assets. But normally, if you are starting off, on your financial journey, you normally don't really have as many assets. or income generating assets as yet. It's something that you build towards. But eventually, once you get to that passive income, that's when you start creating cash flow for yourself. And that's when you know you're becoming financially free. So now if we take it back to last week, what is in your hand? Today we're going to ask ourselves, how is it that you can monetize what is in your hand? So you can bake. You love baking for your family for free. Maybe start baking and generate an income. Maybe you're good with dancing. Maybe you're a great entertainer. Maybe you're a good orator. Whatever the situation may be, your question should be, how do you monetize what you can do? How do you position yourself for such? So ask yourself the following 3 questions. What problem can you solve? Who needs the solution? And how is it that you can package it? How can you package it in a way that it's appealing to the people that you're trying to reach? So for example, if you're good at admin, you can offer virtual assistant services. If you're good at explaining, you can tutor or you can coach. If you're creative, you can look at your design or your content creation. Or if you understand money, you can also invest in financial education. Income comes from solving problems. I'll say that again. Income comes from solving problems. Now in South Africa, many of us focus on saving money, there's nothing entirely wrong with that. It's good. It's important that you save money. But you find that we save money, but the focus is not on increasing income. So one of the interactions that I have with clients every now and then is that people take pride in the fact that they saved. And when I look at their disposable income or when I look at, their net wealth, I'm like, but you're not working on anything to increase this amount so that you can have more disposable income or you can have more net wealth. You're focused on keeping, but you're not focused on increasing your income. So you find that you increase your expenses, but your income is not growing. So the question is, or the mindset shift that you should have is asking yourself, how do I increase my income? So you shouldn't focus on spending more or increasing your standard of living. Maintain it. Keep the standard of living that you have. Live below your means or live within your means. And just work on increasing your income. Just because you have an increased income doesn't mean you must increase your lifestyle. You can maintain it, stay where you are, and work on increasing. Be comfortable with having more income. Don't translate you having an income to having to spend more things or buying more things or buying more expensive things. Increase your income so that you can have enough to invest into assets so that it can acquire you cash flow that you need for you to be able to acquire whatever it is that you want. Don't get excited when you get an income increase. So now I want us to shift by that mentality, or I want us to shift that mindset by stating practical ways in which you can increase your earning capacity. I'm going to list about 4 points. The first one is upgrade your skill. And I'm going to add another part, or I'll add an extra word and say continually upgrade your skill. The previous week I said it's not a once-off event. It's continuous. So continue to upgrade your skill. Take short courses. Get certifications. Learn high-income skills. Find out what those skills are and learn about them. Don't allow people to tell you that education is not important. Education is important. Go get that degree. Go get that qualification. Invest in it. It will work to your advantage. Don't be discouraged by people who say that education is not the key to success. It contributes towards your success. It's important for you to know things and know how they work for you to be successful. Second point is ask for more. The Bible says this, that if you ask, you'll receive. Do not be afraid to ask. Maybe if you do not know how to do so, go learn about negotiation, on what questions to ask. Find out from the people around on how you can ask maybe to negotiate your salary or to ask to apply for better opportunities or to position yourself for growth. To be successful, great successful people are people who ask. If you're going to assume that the answer is no, like the guy, the third servant who said, I was afraid and so I hid, you're not going to get anywhere. So the way that you can step up or go to the next level is actually by asking. The third one is add a second income stream. So you can do it through a side hustle, or you can do some freelance work or weekend income, whatever works for your schedule or based on the capacity that you have. Structure it in that way and find a second income stream that will help you to add that income, to increase that income so that you can build your asset portfolio accordingly. And the fourth one, position yourself strategically. Be visible. Let people know who you are. Let them know what you do. Network intentionally. Don't just randomly go to spaces that are not going to be of benefit to you. Don't spend yourself, don't spend money or don't spend resources on things that are not going to really bring back some form of return. One of the mistakes that I can say that I've done in my early stages of building my network was just networking with just anyone, which is good. I think it's important for you to get yourself out there. But I realized as time went that, not all people deserve, to be in my network. Not everybody should be in my network because it won't be of benefit to either them or myself. So network intentionally, build your personal brand for yourself. Find out about personal branding. There's so many, resources that are there that are free. There are ones that are paid. Find out how it is that you can build a brand. Find a consultant that will help you to be able to diagnose and find a plan to help you build that personal brand. Because sometimes it's not about what you know, it's who knows what you can do. So being able to leverage on the who is important. So now let's correct a few things, right? Depending on one income stream is not advisable. In this economy, it is risky. So don't be in a place where you're just relying on one income stream. Challenge yourself to build a second income stream. Increasing lifestyle with every increase in income is not the way to go because you're not leaving any room to invest. Not tracking your income and expenses, it will lead you to financial confusion. You are just living by the way. You are not intentional about your finances. And waiting for the perfect timing, like that servant who said, I was afraid and I hid. That will delay your growth. The longer you take to invest, you are missing out on the advantage of time. Time plays a huge role in asset growth. So when you start late, you are missing out because, let's be honest, your time on earth is limited. So you want to leverage on the time. So the earlier you start, the better. Rather start with a smaller amount than not start at all. So to make it practical for us tonight, instead of saying, I want to earn more money, that's vague again. That's how I know you're not working towards anything. But be specific with yourself. Say, I will generate a 2,000 Rand, income, an additional 2,000 Rand per month within 60 days by offering a service using my existing skill. So maybe you're doing it through baking. I don't know. I keep speaking about baking. Baking keeps coming up in my mind. So maybe if you're a person who's holding back on baking, this is for you. Right? But stated, I will generate an additional 2,000 Rand per month within 60 days by offering a service using my existing skill. Here, it brings you clarity, brings you direction, and you can measure it through progress. You are able to see after 60 days whether you were able to acquire 2,000 Rand extra every month. And that is how you build your income intentionally. Understand that your income is not just about money. Your income gives you access to freedom. It gives you responsibility and it gives you impact. It allows you to support your family, it allows you to give generously, and it allows you to build something that outlives you. So income shouldn't just be the thing that you're chasing. Chase your income with purpose. Don't just chase your income for the sake of chasing it. Now to quickly recap, income is the bridge between who you are and what you build. You are called to multiply, not just maintain. Start with active income, grow into leveraged income, and therefore into passive income. Turn your skills into solutions, increase your earning capacity intentionally because income is not luck. It is something that is intentionally built. So the key that I leave you with you today is don't just earn money, build income streams that grow from your skills, solve real problems, and create a lasting value for yourself and your legacy. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Unlocking Finance. That's it from me. My name is Ntombi. And do reach out on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Your Financial Friend. Pop me a DM or a comment here and there and let me know how this has helped you and if it's working out for you. And let me know if there's anything that you also want me to cover and speak about. And let's engage. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night.